Welcome to another edition of Game Day, Rams fans. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Marcus. Before we analyze this week's game, let's take a look at last week's highlights.
Last Friday, the Rams took on the top 10 ranked Inderkum Tigers for their first home game of the season. First and 10, quarterback Peyton Wilfley throws a beautiful fade pass to Jake Romine for the Rams' first score of the night. First and 10, Inderkum ball. Linebacker Dusty Dutra gets a nice form tackle for a 0-yard gain. Back on the offensive side, Angel Scenario catches a 10-yard dig and brings it down to the 5-yard line, which sets up Peyton Wilfley for a quarterback keeper. Watch him extend out to get the ball over the goal line for his first rushing touchdown. And when Inderkum gets the ball back on offense, Dutra is there to stir things up in the backfield, which gives Casa his first safety of the night. The Rams get back down into the red zone, and Peyton throws the out route to Jake Romine for the last score of the half. Rams fans are pumped up and ready for a win at halftime. And the Rams come out on defense with a nice 3-man tackle for an Inderkum loss of yards. This energy forced a bad punt snap, and Inderkum was called and a penalty for intentional grounding, which ended up in another safety for Casa. Back in the red zone, Jake Romine wasn't done as he scores on another fade route for a 30-yard touchdown. The Rams fought hard in this one, but ended up losing with the score Casa 32, Inderkum 49. Coming off a tough loss last week, the Rams faced the 0-3 Golden Sierra Grizzlies for their homecoming game.
Offensively, this team only has 2 touchdowns the entire season, but they do run the tricky wing T offense, which is led by senior quarterback number 5, Daniel Lesher. He only has 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, so hopefully Cass's DBs can take advantage of it. Even though the wing T offense installs a good run game, the Grizzlies only have 270 yards rushing.
Now, the Grizzlies only have 20 people on their roster, so a lot of players will have to play both ways. And speaking of defense, you can expect to see them coming out in an odd front, a 3-3 cover 3. You might also see a 3-2 cover 4 to cover deep threats like wide receiver Jake Romine, who is also this week's player profile.
Player profile.
Yeah, I have really high expectations for the whole entire team. Every day throughout practice, everybody's working as hard as they can, so I know on that Friday we'll be 110% ready to go. I try to keep them accountable for their actions. If I see one of them slacking off, loafing, I try to tell them, remind them what the overall goal is. I try to lead by example. I try to go full speed on every route, block as hard as I can. I don't really like to say I'm a team leader, but I try to use it on my actions. I try to act upon my actions and lead the team through them. Well, during practice, it's a lot of offense versus defense stuff. And on Thursdays, which is more of a relaxed day, I start feeling ourselves come together through feeds and things like that. And then on Friday before the game, we're all together 100%, and you can feel the brotherhood throughout the team. Through the adversity and through the struggle throughout the game, close games, I can look into the teammates' eyes, and I know they have my back, and they know I have theirs.
Now let's see what Coach Ryan has to say in this week's edition of Coach's Corner.
Good morning, Casa. I am your host, Michael Hobie, here once again in Coach's Corner with the big dog, Coach Ryan. Thank you for being here, Coach.
Hey, nice to be here.
Now, last week was a tough loss against the Inderkum Tigers in our home opener. We lost 49-32, and anyone who attended the game will tell you it was a really close game. I mean, but the score doesn't exactly reflect that. Do you think the score was a good representation of the actual game play?
No, we gave them their last touchdown. We went for it on 4th and 20, but we were already down by 9 points, so why wouldn't we try to get a first down and make it a game? So that last touchdown doesn't really count, and if you think about earlier in the fourth quarter, it was 35-32, and we were inside the 9-yard line going in for the go-ahead touchdown. So the game was a lot closer than the score indicates, and it should be a good building block for the rest of our season.
Now, obviously, flaws were discovered last Friday, with Golden Sierra being 0-3 and only having 19 players. Do you think this game is going to be a good chance to kind of work out some of those kinks?
Well, when we scheduled this game last year, Golden Sierra, of course, was 9-1 and off to a very good season. And they're a very well-coached team, but yeah, they are lacking some players, and we do hope to work out some of our flaws before we play Roseville the following week.
Now, what do you expect from Golden Sierra, defensively speaking? Because they run the same offense, the wing T, just like Inderkum, but maybe not as good. Do you think the defense is going to be ready for another go at this confusing form of play?
Yeah, we've actually prepared for lots because they also run the spread. They've run a little thing called the Cox box. Never really know when they're going to unveil that. But we're prepared for anything they're going to do, and we're going to get the ball back to our offense to let them light the scoreboard up.
Now, obviously, you can't take any team too lightly, but Just wondering, during practices last week, have you actually begun to prepare for Roseville?
No, you never do that. We've gone back to the basic fundamentals defensively. We're tackling. We're working on our form tackling. We didn't think we tackled very well at Inderkum. I know the offense has been working on their screen game, and we've made a change at center. So we're not underestimating Golden Sierra. And certainly not preparing for Roseville.
Like you said, a lot of changes are made, and let's hope they pay off tonight at 7 o'clock. I'll be there, Coach. Thank you for being here.
I'll be there too. Thanks for having me.
Back to you, Brendan.
Some key questions for the night. Homecoming. Can the Rams overcome the distractions that come with this big event? Rebounding. The Rams had a tough loss last week. Can they turn things around this week and get back on track? And last, defense. Can the Rams react to Golden Sierra's confusing wing T offense? Well, Marcus, the Rams win if...
Well, count on the Rams being victorious on homecoming if they put a lot of points on the board and hold Golden Sierra's low-scoring, slow offense in check. Well, Brendan, the Grizzlies upset the Rams if...
The Grizzlies win if they can stop Casa's plethora of passing attacks, along with confusing the Rams' defense with the wing T. That's all we have for you this week, Casa. Come out tonight at Newman Field for the homecoming game at 7 o'clock to watch the Rams...
As the Romans would say...
Dominare!